If I had a client who came to me and said, I'm counting on this inheritance in 30 years' time, I'd just say, do not do that, because there's so many things that can change. The care system can change, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they could do. I think that point's worth stressing, that the care is £700 to £1,000 a week for basic care. This is assuming just being in a care home, not talking about like dementia care and things like this.
Yep.
That if life expectancies are where they are and your relative lives for 10 years in that system, that it's going to cost a house to fund it, and you're not going to make the decision of, oh well, I want that inheritance, so just fuck them. You know what I mean? Which brings us on to the next one, which is
brutal.
Die sooner.
Brutal.
Die sooner.
Nice motivation. Yeah.
You're 8 out of 9. Die sooner. I was like, okay, well, I'm sure there's a positive spin we can put on this.
Yeah. No, well, the bottom line is that, I probably shouldn't do this one.
We should. I think it's an important lesson around longevity.
Well, so basically, the kind of the jokingly bit in this is that everything is projected. As a planner, I'll go to 100 because ultimately that's can be a legitimate longevity for someone. That's how long they can live. But life expectancy varies hugely across the country, and life longevity is completely dictated by your own health. So it would be wrong to plan for a situation where you've got someone in dreadful health and you're going to 100, and you don't want to necessarily then be in a position where you're going at 60. Okay, we can't do the things you want to do because we're running you to 98, but you've got a host of health issues. So there needs to be some balance. You can't be too prescriptive with that. I think it's important to say that statistically, there's a 51% chance that a couple, one of them will go to age 90. So if you have a couple, there's almost a more than 50% chance that one of those individuals will live to age 90.
It's 100% not going to be you, mate.
Mate, I do a lot of exercise and a lot of drinking. But I do a lot of exerise. I'm a healthy lad.
You are in good shape.
So you think the average is in the late 90s?
Averages, there's no such thing about averages with life expectancy, and you've got to kind of acknowledge that. However, if we go back to kind of the core message, which is, can you rely on inheritances? Should you? I think the answer is no.
The die younger is the opposite side of the coin of work longer, right? It's just shorten the time frame, and I know it's a bit tongue in cheek. There's this I might have spoken about it before, but there's this thing that the Ministry of Defence write every few years, which is a future trends report, and they talk about the biggest threats as they see it to the global economy. Things like, if we don't use AI for weapons, our enemies will. Like these kind of things. The advancement in biotech will mean that there might be enhanced soldiers. And if we don't use enhanced soldiers, maybe our enemies will. Sure. But they also talk about the fact that they believe there will be an advancement in medicine that extends life in the same way that antibiotics did. As soon as antibiotics were invented, life expectancy just went like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, because people stopped dying of infection. It wasn't that people live longer, it's like on average. But, these trends are there. I hear now that if you're our age, it's like 1 in 10 that you live to 100. Younger, our child's age, they think it's even higher. So this is why we're saying...
1 in 10?
1 in 10 live to 100. Yeah. I mean, I think in 20 years, there'll be double the amount of over 80s that there are right now, because the aging population effect, and... People are living longer because medicine's keeping them alive longer, and they're not necessarily in better health. They're just, they're in poor health with high care requirements, bleeding down their assets, and then living for longer. So these people that are sat there going, "Oh, I'm going to inherit the house from Chelsea." Well, it's like, well, actually, it's all been spent on care, and you're getting it when you're 70.
There's a great book called The 100-Year Life, and it's basically talks about the fact that a child born today has a very good probability of getting to 100 because of medical advances. So everything we're doing really, my core message kind of what we're talking about really is the retirement that our parents had probably is not going to be the same shape of retirement that we have. So how can we use our opportunities and not be anchored to the position that they're in?
This clip was from an interview with George Agan, financial advisor, all about how to build wealth. For the full interview, click here.